Crewton Ramone's House of Math. We're going to have a algebra summer fun camp, or an algebra summer fun group, as it were, since it's going to be virtual online. The way it'll work very simply is you pay me. I'm going to give you a link to a private group. In that private group, you'll get a link to a Google Hangout, and hopefully we'll get together and have a fun time. The quorum will be 5. If only one person wants to do this, I'm not doing this. But if we can get 5 persons or 5 terminals together in the same hour, we're on. And as many of those groups as I can build is as many of them as I'll do. And we can also do one for trigonometry. But right now, let's talk about algebra. So this is laid out basically like a mind map. With me, you understand math. We'll be doing factoring. Ax squared plus bx plus c. Ax squared plus bx minus c, ax squared minus bx minus c, etc. Difference of two squares. In other words, we're going to cover all of it, and graphing it, which means that we'll be covering integers, of course. And the way I teach mathematics, you know, we won't be just doing factoring. We'll be doing multiplication, division, and factoring, understanding the distributive theory of multiplication. We'll get vertex form out of this. It will be $25 a person. Well, $25 a terminal, not a person. That's the whole thing. 10 hours worth is $250. Let's say you have a learning center or a homeschool group. All you have to do is tell people 10 hours, 2 weeks worth of training. And by the way, they don't have to be consecutive. We'll see if it works out. We might do 1 week and then take a week off and do another week, or maybe we'll do 2 weeks in a row. I don't know. Sometime in July, though. I want this all to happen in July. And we go Monday through Friday. But let's say you have a homeschool group. And you tell some people about it. You pay me $250. You sell it to them for $100 a person. If you get 3 people, you're making a profit, right? You just have to tell 3 people, and they're only paying $10 an hour, and they're going to get ask anyone. They're going to get their minds blown first off, and they're going to get more mathematics in these 2 weeks than most people, most kids will get in an entire year in public school. I have testimonials that state the same going back 20 years. And I'm a lot better now than I was then. It will be 1 hour a day plus homework. So you do an hour with me and then about an hour of directed discovery. And your directed discovery is going to be here's a password, watch these videos, and play these games. Right? So it's not going to be like, it's going to be a lot of hard work. We're going to have fun and learn math the way it's supposed to be. You can get a $50 rebate if you get on social media and make some posts. The posts need to contain pictures, and 3 of them need to be on my website, and the other ones need to be on what other social media. Well, actually, it's not true. You can do all 10 of them on my website, but at least 3 of them need to be on my website. And until you get, if you only do 1 post on my website, then I'll give you $5. If you do 10 posts, then you get 50. In other words, $5 a post. If you do 15, you still only get 50. So in other words, it's cut off at 50. So as many, but up to 10, I will give you $5 each. Teachers are welcome. In other words, adults can come to this thing, but the idea was to teach your kids. And hopefully we'll get some groups with 5-year-olds in there, 5 to 7. Maybe we'll get some older students. We'll see who comes. That's what I mean. We'll just see, this is the advertisement to see what kind of interest I have, and then we can start cutting you up into groups. If you have a child that does not want to come, right? No brats. Don't force your child to be there. If they don't want to be there, that's not fair to them and the group, because it changes the energy when they're just dragging their heels. But if they want to come and have fun and learn math, those are the ones we want. If they're 7 and under, I still would like to have some adult supervision on the other side of the terminal, because, I mean, come on, they're 7-year-old kids. You don't expect them to just sit there and behave. Right? So just give them a little bit of adult supervision. And that doesn't mean you have to be sitting there with them. You can be doing other stuff, but just make sure that they're, somebody's there. And we'll have a great time, and you'll learn some stuff too. Let's see, what else? I covered this. Oh, time permitting, we'll do more story problems. There, of course, are going to be story problems, and there is going to be some level 3, but we'll do more or less depending on the students and depending on the time. But I will absolutely be covering the factoring, the integers, 45 addends, 400 math facts for you guys to practice. As you know, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, cannot segregate factoring into its own thing. So, of course, there's going to be multiplication, division, and factoring. The distributive theory of multiplication will be understood by your students, as well as a bunch of other math concepts, right? Because this is conceptual teaching. We're not learning facts here. We're learning concepts, and then through the concepts, we learn our facts. Mathematics, right? The basic operations and computation is how we do the mathematics, but that's not the mathematics. A little more information over here. You're watching this on YouTube. Put comments underneath here. Every time you put a comment, or shoot me an email directly, but every time you put a comment on YouTube, I get an email, so I'll know, and I can start to see what kind of response I'm getting. You absolutely, positively have to have blocks to join this. So don't just be showing up with, you know, a happy smile on your computer. The things that will be required, a set of blocks, and that doesn't have to be more than some math blocks even. It can be Math UC blocks, can be, you know, Cuisinart, whatever you have, as long as they're base 10 blocks, you can use those. But you can't not have manipulatives. Paper and pencil, required, and a whiteboard and pens, optional. Okay. I think that pretty much covers everything. It's going to be simple. Like I said, you pay me, you get in a private group, we get the links to, or you get the links to go where you can join either live broadcasts or the Google Hangout where I'm teaching it. It's going to be Google Hangouts for the most part because I need the interaction. I need to be able to see the kids, I need to be able to see their eyes, and I need to be able to see that they're actually, you know, following along. Because when I do Facebook Live, and I've just done a couple of those now, I can't see you. I get some feedback with comments and so forth, but I can't see your eyes, I can't see your hands, I can't see that you understand. So I want to be able to go to Google Hangouts. This means that you'll need to have Google Hangouts installed. That's easy though, and I can talk you through that in the private group. That's simple. Or you guys can talk each other through it because plenty of people are on Google Hangouts that come to trainings. Okay, I think I covered everything. If I have interest, great, we'll do this thing. If I don't have interest, then I had a fun time drawing all this stuff out, and it was fun. No harm, no foul. But hopefully we get a bunch of people that want to do this thing, because I know there are a ton of homeschool groups that would love to have somebody come in and teach their kids math that knows what they're doing, but they either can't afford it or don't know anybody. Which is the sad thing. So $25 an hour per terminal, I can't see how I can make it more affordable than that. That is 62.5% off my going rate. So cheaper than cheap, but the only way I can afford to do that is to make it up in volume. So like I said, quorum of 5 per hour, not just 5 people, because I'm not doing this 5 hours a day with one group, you know, one terminal. I'm not doing it. So it needs to be in groups of 5. Let's see if we can make this happen. All right, Crewton Ramone's House of Math. 4 more.